Good day. We're at chapter 22 of the book of Numbers at verse 15. And Balak sent yet again princes, more and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said to him, Thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray, hinder you from coming unto me. For I will promote you with very great honor, and I will do whatsoever you say unto me. And therefore I pray you, curse me this people. Notes. It's very apparent that the world right here is giving very, very much allurements to this particular situation. Stupid are the people, and above all the preachers who heed such a call. They will find themselves every time fighting God, which is a battle that they simply cannot win. Verse 18, And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God, to do less or more. Now therefore I pray you, tarry you also here this night, that I may know that the Lord will say unto me this more. Notes, the Lord had already spoken to Balaam, and we know that in his heart Balaam doesn't want to obey the Lord. The truth is, the Lord isn't saying what Balaam wants to hear, and we will see that happen pretty darn soon. Verse 20, And God came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, If the men come to call you, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto you, that shall you do. Notes, now many have argued that Balaam was not a true worshiper of the Lord, and therefore not really a true prophet, but merely a soothsayer, which is basically reduced down to a tarot card reader. But every scripture indicates that whatever Balaam may be at this time, he at least at one time was a true prophet. If Balaam will not obey the Lord will use him anyway, to deliver a message, a series of prophecies, and quite frankly, they are some of the most astounding ones in the entire history of the Bible. Verse 21, And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him. Notes, as this regards believers, even those of Balaam's stripe, everything is a test. How will we act, and how will we react? Even though Balaam had received permission from the Lord to go, the truth is he was going anyway, and hence the anger of the Lord. He was determined to curse the people of God, and for the sole purpose of getting money. Now let it ever be said, God is against all who follow such a course. Are you listening, modern church? Some of the biggest problems that we have are greedy people, and you see it all the time on television. They're claiming that they have some special relationship with God, and that they're going to, if you give them this or that certain thing, they'll send this thing to you through the mail, and somehow this magical object will somehow grant you some kind of blessing. It's utterly ridiculous, and what's really sad is that they make it sound scriptural whenever the fact of the matter is, in most cases, it's a load of garbage. I'll say that very, very flatly. Verse 23. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. Now, notes, events are caused by the Lord but far too often men fail to see that. Verse 24, But the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. Notes, now today as on that day, disobeying God degrades man below the brute beast. Verse 27, And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. Notes, the punishment of the beast is getting harsher and harsher, but yet at the same time, this animal has more sense than this prophet. Verse 28. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto you that you have smitten me these 3 times? Notes, this is going to be kind of funny. Self-will refused to be instructed by circumstances, but a will yielded to God is careful to observe them. Now 3 times Balaam refused to learn from the animal on which he rode, and so blinded was he by the love of money that the dumb beast, speaking with man's voice, failed to make him hesitate. Now, I'm going to tell you straightly that this is not a fable. The Lord actually caused the animal to speak, and if we deny such, we are denying God and His Word. And basically, God is using this as a way to humiliate Balaam. And basically the typology right here is that even a wild animal has more sense than some people. This animal has more spiritual common sense than a so-called prophet of God. How many of those late-night people you see on TV fall into the same category? Verse 29. And Balaam said unto the ass, Because you have mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you. And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I your ass, upon which you have ridden ever since I was yours unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto you? And he said, No. Notes. The astounding thing really about this is that Balaam was so full of covetousness that the speaking of the animal didn't even seem to really faze him that much. And now he actually answers the animal, once again brushing aside the very phenomenon of what was taking place. Now, sin can actually it's proven that sin can actually have this kind of hold upon a person, that they really just take leave of their senses in order to carry out their devious little design. Once again, I state, this animal here has more common and more spiritual sense than a human being who's not following the will of the Lord. Verse 31. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. Notes. He begins to see now that if he says the wrong thing or he does the wrong thing, he might just be going the way of Pogs or the Macarena. In other words, he's going to end up dead. Verse 32. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Wherefore have you smitten your ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand you. I went out to withstand you because your way is perverse before me. Notes. Now, perverse actually means to be leading headlong to destruction, walking directly into a trap. Verse 33. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now I had killed you and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will get me back again. Notes. Now Pharaoh, Balaam, Achan, Saul, David, and Judah said respectively, I have sinned, but only David actually said this sincerely. Verse 35. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. Notes. He's still blinded by greed, and this man doesn't realize that he has just signed his own death warrant. We'll have to pick up in Numbers chapter 22, verse 36. Thank you very much.